things are splendid right now. We're in the good times. It's getting warm. Everybody's about to be hyped up from The Boys Season 4 edits that are soon going to be fucking filling up the For You page. No more school for anybody 22 and below, at least if that's your deal. I guess if you're an up-and-coming tradesman, then, you know, screw college. But yeah, this is nice. This is nice, you know. Not to say that I'm like relying on how everything else around the world is going to determine whether I'm gonna have a good time. But if it's a nice day out, enjoy it, you know. And if it's a bad day out, if it's kind of shitty out, the weather sucks, then just, I don't know, find something else to enjoy. Don't get too gloomy, you know. Even though sometimes that's not even up to you, man. Right? All of us, at least a large fucking percentage of people, are already vitamin D deficient because we're not getting enough sunlight. So if you combine that with, you know, gloomy winter, fall kind of weather, fuck, man. It's kind of tricky just to put a smile on your face, because bad mood will literally fucking make you chemically a little bit more upset. So, another real life fucking benefit, take your multivitamins. You know, I'm not even talking like have a fucking massive box of like calcium and magnesium and like, you know, have everything specifically bought. You're gonna set yourself ahead of the game in terms of your micronutrients, even by just taking a fucking men's gummy and some fish oil. I'd say that's like 75% of it right there. Boom. Now, it is worth getting into because there are a couple of vitamins where they're not really their highest, like, there's different types of a vitamin, you know. There's different kinds of magnesiums and calciums, and some of them are more, you know, absorbable than others. A lot of the times that's why, you know, when you look on your fucking or if you've never done it, then whatever, but if you look on the like the nutrition facts of like a multivitamin, you know, some of these are like your like 4,000% of your daily allowance, or like 10,000 your daily allowance of vitamin D, or whatever else, you know, which seems like kind of a fucking crazy number, right? You don't need that much of anything. But that's kind of, you know, their attempt to counteract that low absorption rate. So if you do kind of want to be a nut and make sure you're getting in all your potassiums and whatever else that you're not potentially getting from your food, and that is where you're going to get most of all your fucking calcium, micro whatevers. But if you do want to make sure you're getting them all, it might be worth, you know, looking up like a fucking, you know, best absorption magnesium or whatever else. But enough chit chat about it. I mean, this isn't even car talk. I'm just making small talk right now, talking about the weather. What's the plan for the lift? Well, you're already aware. Chest. So what's my approach? What's my battle plan? You know, if I'm Ender, how am I gonna strategically destroy my pectoralis major, minor, upper, lower, and everything in between? Well, I think you already know, if you've seen any of these workouts before. If I had to condense my main approach to my chest training, you know, if I boiled it down to its core components, it would look something like this. Heavy pressing, usually, followed by maybe a little more pressing, but on more like a squeeze kind of biased machine. You know, maybe more like a cable press instead of barbell, or maybe a machine instead of dumbbell. You know, but heavy pressing followed by maybe lighter pressing, and then finished usually with either flies or a combination of pressing and flies. You know, so I could do 2 sets of incline Smith machine, then 3 sets of like bent over cable press with like a drop set in there too, and then finish with like a superset of pec flies, jumping straight onto like a machine press, you know, something like that. But it's you know, it's not a perfect formula. It's not like a fucking baking recipe where if any one component is off, it's gonna fucking, you know, your muffins are gonna come out flat or anything, you know. It's much more important to make each of the sets that you're doing as intense as you can do them, rather than, you know, picking the perfect sets. There's no workout where, well, okay, that's not true. I could do a stupid workout. If I did 50 rep sets for 10 sets, I don't think that would do so much, because the weight would be way too low. But if you get the basic gist of what you're doing, you know, I'm talking 8 to 20 rep sets, heavy weight, hard, or you go a little bit lighter and you're really focusing on squeezing and you kind of hit failure like that, you know, as long as you know you're doing good quality and then pretty much standardized style sets with drop sets, with intensifiers, you know, to taste, then I wouldn't be so concerned about whether you should do incline barbell or if you should do incline dumbbell. Right? I think you should pick the one that you think is going to feel better on that specific day, and then say, okay, I'm going to go fucking nuts right now. I was about to say start screaming. You don't know. That's go hard. And then if you got to let out a little bit of a lift or war cry, then do what you got to do, depending on whether or not your gym will allow it. You know, we've you know, use your best judgment. I was gonna say though, now I'm kind of curious. Am I the only person who, when you put deodorant on pre-gym, armpits of course, but then I just do like a quick swipe on the inside of my elbows? You know, I'm talking elbow pits, because it's not like I reek. You know, if you shower on a consistent basis, which by consistent, I don't mean consistent. I mean fucking daily to twice daily. If that's you, you shouldn't be stinking too bad anyway. But I always feel like, I don't know, maybe it's just OCD or something. Someone told me to do that once when I was younger, and now it's just a fucking habit. But either way, pre-workout consumed. Beta-alanine tingling my fucking cheeks and my ears. So let's just get started with whatever the first working set ends up being. Okay, help. Two more. Pull. Really pull this one. Oh, thanks.
No problem.
No.
Keep it going. Keep it going. There you go.
Okay, help.
Ready? Ready? That's you. That's you. That's you.
Yeah, one more.
One more. Come on. Come on.
That's perfect. Oh, thanks.
Hell yeah, bro. One. There we go. Keep it going. Ready?
Yeah.
Ready? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. There you go. Nice and easy. That's it. That's it. You got another one. You got another one. You got another one. Go, 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 go. Nice.
Solid.
Oh
yeah. All right, let's move on to some heavy cable flies. I wouldn't mind pec deck, but honestly, cable flies are better. I like the cable fly. Like, I'm talking, you know, really wide so I can actually get a good stretch. I like this way more than a standard pec deck, which could just be personal preference, but it's something about the strength curve, because when you do a pec deck, I mean, I don't know if you know about vectors, but when you're right here, your hand is, you know, exerting force directly forward, right? And that force is continual. So yeah, the pec deck has better constant tension, but something about having these cables pull only outward and not backward, I don't know, I just like it. And that could just be how my fucking chest works with my brain. But heavy set, maybe a few. One more, probably a drop set. Okay. Chest is nearly done. Maybe 2 more. Let's think about it. Yeah. Okay. One more. And I think chest is done. All right, last one. Okay. Let's go post down. Where'd my phone go? All right. So what was that, like 6 or something sets? Finally donezo, finally complete. Well, actually, no, that's not finally. I'm not itching for the workout to end. Come on, that's a loser talk. But nonetheless, chest is complete. Let's adjust my white balance so I'm not so yellow. Any photography nerds would know what I'm talking about. And then, what do you think? Is there a freaky ass chest pump on here? You can already see my fucking shoulders popping out of my short sleeve. I'd go so far as to guess yes. And I'm lucky enough that shirtless pose downs, at least every so often, are not shunned at this gym. Lucky, lucky, lucky. Actually, let's drop the exposure one more. Yeah, there we go. I mean, you tell me. That's a midsection that's getting fucking lean, that's for sure. It's good. We're getting lean. We are absolutely getting fucking lean. And now I'm getting extra excited because I have another like month of dieting after this. So really, this is only the halfway mark. Let's get one zoom in of a little side chest action and then get out of here. Nice. Let's roll. All done. All done, 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 done. That was a good lift. Very pumped. Very pumped, especially given that I wasn't, full of 1,000,000 grams of carbs or anything else. If you're curious, the meal intake so far for today, I guess what you would call breakfast, was a pound of 95% lean, grass-fed ground beef. That good stuff. Fat strained off, of course. So, when you cook ground beef and you strain off the fat, there is still some in the meat, in the cooked meat itself. You can never get it all out. It's just not even, you're dreaming. You're dreaming if when you track your macros from eating a pound of ground beef, if you only, if you count only the protein and not the fat, yeah, look, you gotta wake up to reality. But a bit does get strained out, of course. So it said there was 24 grams of fat in the whole packet. Strained off, I just said about half. I got about, so I only tracked 12 grams of fat with the 80-ish grams of protein, which for one meal is a big chunk, but I was pretty hungry and I didn't want to just overeat on carbs. So sometimes I'll have a higher protein meal. Not that it's any better or worse, but proteins, as a rule of thumb, which does not have to be followed like super directly, I think they should be eaten out of everything. Your protein intake should be the most even throughout the day. Whereas, well, I guess probably your protein and fats, because those aren't, you're not going to have a fucking ribeye, with like 40 grams of fat in it. You're not going to eat that and suddenly be alert and energized. You don't have that kind of short-term energy boost from eating something like that. Whereas your carbs, I think you should be a little bit more particular with when you eat them. You're going to want to have at least, well, it depends on how big you are, I guess. But for me, I want to have at least 100 grams of carbs pre-workout. Not immediately, but throughout the day before I go to the gym to, do my workout, just so I have some, blood sugar floating around, and I've replenished a little bit of my fucking intramuscular sugar water, glycogen, so that when I lift, I'm burning a little bit of fuel, instead of just, basically running on nothing. That's another reason why I like the morning cardio and the evening lift. Not just because I want to separate them so that one doesn't interfere with the other, but if you're doing a morning workout, and you wake up, you take your. Actually, I feel like people who do morning workouts are probably more likely to just drink a coffee. They're on that grind. They wake up, black coffee, straight to the gym. Full body workout. But I don't think that's the best method. Now, of course, if that's just how your schedule has to work, you have to work out in the morning, then make the best of it. I'm not saying you're not going to make gains with a morning workout, but you're definitely putting yourself at a little bit of a disadvantage compared to people who get a full day of eating in, or at least half a day of eating in, before they go to the gym to work out. Because your performance output, having been well fed compared to fasted, you're better off with some food in you, man. And I don't mean a crazy amount, but just a couple of meals pre-workout, you're gonna notice. You're gonna be able to get more reps out, be more pumped. Just have a little more energy. You're gonna have a better lift. And like I kind of said, I kept repeating this phrase in the last car talk. I was like, dude, the more good lifts you can get under your belt, the more productive lifts, the more intense and hard sets, over time, that's what's going to, inch you higher in terms of your progress. So if that's you, I would not say that it's a bad move to maybe try to do your workout later in the day. Or, maybe just try to eat something as soon as you wake up. I'm talking like have a little, have a shake with some overnight oats, just something like as soon as you get up. And then if you don't start, let's say you wake up at 6 and you got to go straight to the gym and you're working out at like 7, even just eating something an hour before you lift, that will help. That will certainly help you. But no, getting back into what I was eating. So it was pounded ground beef with some like Tostitos cream, or no, like some Tostitos like cheese dip. I just like the chip. I'm talking like that little glass jar. I really like that kind of cheese dip. So I weighed out 120 grams of that into the ground beef, mixed it all up, so I kind of had like some cheesy beef. I think that added up to about 700 calories right there, because it was about 25 grams of fat total, 80 grams of protein, and like 12 grams of carbs from that kind of cheese sauce. So low carb starter meal. I want to save my carbs for later in the day. Sounds about right to me. And since it was a little bit higher protein, a couple of hours later, I just took a whole little sleeve of graham crackers. The big ones, like the four cracker sheets with a cup of milk. Felt like fucking Santa Claus. But that added up to about 100 grams of carbs, 8 grams of protein from the milk, about 12 grams of fat as well. So that puts me at however many calories I've eaten so far today. My phone's in my bag, so I'm not going to whip it out. But I'm at about 1,200. It's 5 o'clock. That's good for me. I never go wrong saving my calories a little bit for later in the evening, because for me to go to bed still hungry, it makes me much more likely to want to, overeat, go above my calorie limit, and then I'm not dieting anymore. I'm just maintaining, So if you can be a little more sparse with your calories throughout the day, now I'm talking to anybody who's trying to trim down, start maybe you're not, but maybe you're thinking about starting to track your calories or whatever else. Even if you don't want to track every macro, just counting your calories, or maybe getting a little bit of an idea of how many calories you're eating per day. Like, you don't even have to count every macro and track it, but just looking at the nutrition label. Okay, this is a 400 calorie Gatorade protein bar or whatever, kind of just get a little bit of a sense for it. But if you eat a little bit more sparsely throughout the day, and then you have a nice big meal before you go to bed, it does make it a little bit easier, at least in my experience, to stay under your calorie limits. Because for me, like I said, if I'm hungry and I'm ready for bed, part of me is just going to go fucking feral, go upstairs, you know, have some chips or something. I'm not talking like a 4,000 calorie, you know, refeed like that. But even 500 calories, if I'm in a deficit, that can push me into maintenance to slightly calorie surplus territory. So you got to be careful about that. But that's just for my situation, you know, and my fucking dieting preferences. Like for me, to skip breakfast, you know, not really have a solid meal until like 10 or even noon, that's not too hard. You know, make sure I drink enough fluids, whatever else. But as the day progresses, I do need to start chowing down on a little something, even if it's just, you know, relatively smaller meals every few hours. Now, when I say that, do not go overboard, because a lot of people fall into this mentality, which, you know, no wonder why it doesn't work. But you know, what I think a lot of people end up doing if they want to diet down, you know, maybe people who don't have such a solid grasp on the food that they're eating, is what they end up doing is they eat nothing all day. They literally eat shit. Well, not shit. They eat jack shit. You know, I'm talking like they might have a salad or like some carrots, or like they pack a bag of grapes for lunch or something. And then they think to themselves like, okay, I was good today. Or, you know, maybe they didn't even like starve themselves, but all they had was really not much. You know, I'm talking granola bar for breakfast, maybe just a protein shake for lunch, and then like, you know, maybe a salad with like a little dressing. You know, I'm talking sub 700 calories for the whole day. And then, you know, 8 o'clock at night comes around. They think to themselves, oh, I was good today. I was really good today. I can have a treat. And then their treat combined, so when you kind of are now really fucking hungry at the end of the day, and you want a treat, you're combining two fucking factors that make you want to really chow down and eat a lot of food. For one thing, just your fucking baseline hunger, but also your sweet tooth. When hunger and having a little sweet tooth combines, you are asking for trouble. You know, that's where you whip out a Ben & Jerry's tub out of the freezer, and before you know it, the whole thing disappears. That was 1,200 calories in just one little tub. Boom, you're no longer in a calories deficit, and now you've really done nothing. All the work that you did that whole day of making sure you didn't overeat and you stay on, you know, eat low calorie stuff, your whole day of effort can be turned around in just one 20-minute like feast of whatever you can get your hands on at night. You know, so don't eat too sparsely. You know, I think overall, for probably most people, just trying to, you know, make sure you have evenly sized, smaller portion meals evenly throughout the day, so you've always got a little something in your belly. You don't get too hungry. That's probably going to be the easiest approach. But if you don't mind, you know, skipping breakfast, starting to eat a little bit later in the day, you know, and like that doesn't make you really fucking starving hungry or anything, then that does let you eat larger meals during that period of time that you're eating. I almost feel like I do, like, not intermittent fasting. You know, some people talk about like eating windows where like they only eat from like 3 p.m. until 10, you know, stuff like that, which is basically just intermittent fasting. I wouldn't say that there's anything particularly special about that. There's no special effect that you're going to get from eating that way. But it does let you kind of constrain the amount of time that you're going to be eating. And as long as your meals aren't too large and you're not getting in too many calories, if you can handle it, or if it doesn't bother you to go the day, you know, kind of in just a fasted state, more power to you. But no matter what your approach ends up being, you have to get this, I mean, really fucking firmly engraved into your mind. Calories in, calories out will be the primary determinant of whether you gain weight or you lose weight. Now, gaining weight would be, you know, building muscle, putting on a little bit of fat as well. Losing weight would be that you in the black truck. I saw that. But so gaining weight would be, you know, building muscle with a little bit of fat as well. It's just the nature of it. And then getting lean, that's going to be primarily losing fat. And I really, like, I can see the motivation to make comments like this, where it's like, well, but what if you ate only protein? What if all you had was 4,000 calories of steak? Isn't that going to affect your body differently than if you had 4,000 calories of ice cream and chicken wings? Which, yes, you're right. You know I talk about treats a lot and how, like, you can have some treats, but I'm well aware that a 50 gram, or, you know, a bag of Skittles with 50 grams of sugar is going to affect my body differently than a bowl of rice with the same amount of, you know, calories in it. You know, I do know that. But even so, even though it has that different effect, it's not going to outweigh the fucking energy input, energy output, you know? If you got a car that burns 10 gallons of gas a day and you only fill it up with 8 gallons, guess what? You're not going to have enough, you know? It's no different with your fucking body, man. No, I know it is. You know, when people measure calories in foods, it's not like the same digestive process. You know, they're actually literally incinerating the food itself and measuring the temperature differential. So yeah, you are right. It's a little different when it's actually in your body and you've got your blood sugar fluctuations and whatever else. But just because that's the case does not mean that energy in, energy out is just no longer valid. If anything, I think that's just a coping mechanism, you know? So if you're trying to find a rabbit hole of a dieting approach, you know, you don't know exactly where to start, you see everybody talking about keto or Atkins, or maybe you want to buy like a meal prep or have a coach tell you what to eat, whatever else. Actually, if you got a coach, and you stuck to what they tell you, that would work. But even that guy telling you what to eat and, you know, giving you your meal plans and everything else, he's still relying on the calories in, calories out factor. There's more to it at play, I will admit, but you can't beat it. You cannot beat it. Nobody's going to lose body fat if they're not in a deficit. And any caveat to that is only... Actually, there is no caveat to that. If you're not in a deficit, kiss your body fat goals goodbye. And I stand behind that. I stand behind that statement 100%. So let's go home, eat, dream about the back day that I'm going to have tomorrow, as well as the cardio that I'm going to do in the morning beforehand. And then by the time it's tomorrow and I'm in the car driving home from the gym, I'll say the same thing, except I'll be talking about the arm day, and then the leg day, and then the chest day, just a consistent loop. All the while getting leaner by the day, getting veinier by the day, freakier by the day. Perfect state of being. So I'll see you tomorrow for back.